It's a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black We are Minnesota.
Season's 10th game, the Minnesota Twins finally get their first win. Thank goodness it's over with. Great win for the Twins.
14 hours after he produced his first game-winning RBI for the Twins, Byung Ho Park is back at the ballpark getting ready for the sequel. Game 2 against the Angels. Park's double pushed Trevor Plouffe home from first base, a race that he won to put the Twins ahead for good. The top of the Twins order came through when it mattered most. Another midsummer-like afternoon at Target Field today, where the Twins hope to secure their first series win of the season against the Los Angeles Angels. Twins turn to Ricky Nolasco to get that job done. He was terrific in his first start last Sunday in Kansas City. Jared Weaver gets the ball for the Angels. Another meeting with the 6'7" right-hander who owns a 9-2 career record against the Twins. We welcome you to Twins Baseball on Fox Sports North. It is over. The Twins broke through with their first win of the season last night, and Roy Smalley, all it took for the Twins was some timely hitting.
Well, they weren't going to go over season with men in scoring position, but they were not doing well up until last night. And then the guys that are going to have to do it for the Twins, the 1 through 4 hitters, really came through. Whether it's Nunez or Dozier at the top, they've got to get it started. And this big guy, Miguel Sano and Trevor Plouffe, are going to have to be the guys that provide the run production along with Joe Mauer. And those 3 guys, those 4 guys, did it last night in a very exciting fashion. Showed an awful lot of character, starting the season as badly as they did, and then come back and have to come back twice to regain leads and win the first ball game of the year. A huge relief for everybody. And how great is it to see Byung Ho Park be able to get the game-winning RBI. Hopefully that'll get that young man going as well.
Up next, Dick Raymer and Bert Blyleven focus on today's starting pitchers, 2 veterans who are armed and dangerous.
Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us.
During the wintertime, this is the type of weather we were looking forward to. An absolutely gorgeous day for baseball at Target Field. Ricky Nolasco will be making his second start of the season for the Twins. And similarly, Jared Weaver making his second start of the year for the Angels. And we welcome you to Target Field on this glorious afternoon. And now that the losing streak is behind us, we can talk about what really matters, starting pitching, right? And the Angels and Twins both got encouraging starts from today's starting pitchers.
Yeah, for the Minnesota Twins, these are two veterans going at each other here this afternoon. It'll be Ricky Nolasco coming off a very good start last Sunday. Only one run allowed in the 7 innings. They actually left that ball game with a 3-1 lead, and that was that 10-inning loss to the Kansas City Royals. Important for Nolasco to establish that pitch right there. Fastball, then mix in the off-speed pitches. And for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, it'll be Jared Weaver, an 11-year veteran for the Angels. Once their ace, this guy, yeah, he may not throw as fast as he once did, but he, like Nolasco, rely on good off-speed pitches. He's coming off a very good start against the Rangers last Sunday in Anaheim.
Yep, the losing streak is behind the Minnesota Twins. Today, they hope to start building a winning streak in Game 2 with the Angels. In a sport that plays 162 regular season games, one game shouldn't be that significant, particularly this early in the season. But you get a sense that last night's game was a tremendous relief for the Twins, the uniform personnel. And we'll see what happens now moving forward as the Twins hope to recover from a terrible start. Mike Scioscia
saw his team get off to a slow start, just one win in the first 5 games, but they had a winning streak in last night. They've won 4 straight. And here is the Angel batting order for game 2. Yunel Escobar leading off. Rafael Ortega just called up. He's in the lineup in left field. Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, Cole Calhoun, C.J. Cron, Andrelton Simmons, Giovanni Soto, and Cliff Pennington.
And that'll be Ricky Nolasco starting his 2nd start of the year here this afternoon against the Angels. He's faced the Angels only 2 other times in his career, and both of them coming back a couple years ago in 2014 in his first season with the Twins. Nolasco grew up in Southern California, so this is a team that he'll have a lot of family and friends watching, and hopefully he'll pitch a good one.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. The Twins have committed 7 errors, 4 of them by Eduardo Escobar, and he is not in the lineup today. Arcia is in left, Rosario in center, Sano in right. Nunez gets the start at short for Escobar. Dozier joining him up the middle. Corner infielders Plouffe and Park. Mauer the designated hitter. John Ryan Murphy behind the plate. John Tumpane behind the plate. Jeff Kellogg at first, Brian Honora at second, and Alan Porter at third. Nolasco will try to do what Tommy Malone did last night. Try to do what Ricky Nolasco did in his first start, and that is put some zeros up early and keep the lineup off balance. He did that extraordinarily well against the Royals on Sunday.
I think we'll see that from both pitchers here this afternoon. Establish the fastball and then mix in the breaking balls and the changeups.
Ball 1 to Yunel Escobar. Angels playing .500 baseball, but they are on top of their division in the American League West, along with the Texas Rangers. There's a soft liner into left field, a base hit. Escobar's aboard with a leadoff single.
I think we saw it in the last night's ball game. We have not seen a lot of Escobar, most of his playing time in the National League last year when he hit .314 for the Nationals. But he likes that swing at bat. He's almost like Escobar with the Kansas City Royals as a leadoff hitter. They come up there swinging.
Rafael Ortega got a handful of at-bats for the Colorado Rockies 4 years ago, and now he's back with the Angels. Daniel Nava, who struck out to end the game last night, was put on the disabled list with a left knee issue.
Yeah, he was a September call-up with the Rockies in 2012, and you saw the 2 hits and 4 at-bats. Not a big guy, Ortega, 5'11", about 160 pounds. Very good minor league numbers.
And a very good throwing arm, they say, in the outfield.
9 minor league seasons, a .290 hitter. A lot of speed. And he's down in AAA. He was hitting .348 in 6 games. 8 hits and 23 at-bats. AAA affiliate for the Angels of Salt Lake. He was one of the last cuts that Mike Scioscia and his staff made at the end of spring training to come down to their 25-man roster.
Chopper to second. He'll get the lead runner and relay to first with Ortega flying down the line. There will be no throw. 1 away.
Well, Ricky Nolasco said the importance of him having a good game is control of the fastball, and that's what he had in that Kansas City series. And then mix in the breaking balls. Last Sunday in that start, you'll see the selection of fastballs, almost 46%, then the slider, the curveball, and the splitter, the changeup.
Testament maybe to how effective he was and how he kept the Royals off balance. Royal lineup's a really tough lineup to strike out. He got 5 strikeouts in 7 innings, and that's not going to lead the league in strikeouts, but the Royals might be the toughest team in the American League to strike out, and yet Nolasco was able to pick up a few along the way.
Again, he said he got ahead with the fastball, then a lot of the Royals chased that curveball.
1 strike to Mike Trout. And now inside 1-1. Trout and Pujols off to kind of slow starts. Pujols has 8 runs batted in and hit his first home run of the season last night. He's lined up behind Trout. Popped up behind second base.
Good pitch right there, had Trout way out front.
And Rosario with the catch, 2 down. And that'll bring up Pujols.
Well, pitching is about adding and subtracting, and watch this breaking ball right here. Good location. You see Trout had to reach down to try to hit it hard somewhere, and he ends up popping it to center field.
Man on, 2 out, and a Nolasco nemesis, Albert Pujols, will hit. Pujols 13 for 25 with 3 home runs against Nolasco. Down and away, ball 1.
And most of those numbers when Pujols was with the St. Louis Cardinals and Ricky Nolasco was with the Marlins and the Dodgers.
Pujols tied the game with an opposite field home run against Tommy Malone last night in the 6th inning. And he takes a strike. And Cole Calhoun hit a 2-run home run. The Angels had a 4-2 lead. And that was one of the nice things about the win. Getting the win was great, but the way the Twins got the win, coming from behind in the late innings to win it.
You know, hitters will talk about, you know, patience at the plate, and you look at Pujols stand there, not a lot of movement, tremendous lower body strength, of course, very strong up top too.
Slice foul,
But
1 and 2.
once he commits to a pitch, so strong with his wrists. A lot of guys will move in the box, but not him. Short stride, strong looking swing. 561 career home runs for Albert Pujols. Hit one last night off of Tommy Malone to right field.
.312 career hitter, last year hitting just .244.
Keep an eye on Ortega. He's at first base. 192 stolen bases in the minor leagues in the 9 seasons.
Opponents have stolen 2 bases in 3 tries against the Twins in the first 10 games.
And Nolasco over his career, 85 stolen bases against him. 41 have been caught stealing. 126 attempts. He has 7 pickoffs.
Ortega with a good lead. 1 and 2 to Pujols. Breaking ball left up and in. Talking with Mike Scioscia this morning about Pujols, and we talked about it last night. Here's a guy who's been a very productive hitter, to say the least. 561 big league home runs, and the most he's ever struck out in a season, 76 times, twice.
And we touched on that a little bit last night. Very, very good contact hitter.
That's foul. And looking at his bio, that is incorrect. He struck out 93 times in his rookie season back in 2001. But in relating Pujols and how productive he is without striking out in this era, when, as Twins fans know better than any, strikeouts are far more commonplace. Scioscia said this guy may go down as one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Yeah, you know what? We had Rod Carew here, and we were looking up strikeouts on Rod. And his rookie season, he had the most that he ever had at this level.
2 and 2 to Pujols. Breaking ball and another little chip shot to right center field. Sano coming in, and he makes the catch, and a good inning for Nolasco as he pitches around the leadoff single. 2, another day game tomorrow, and Paul Molitor hoping that last night's game will mark the beginning of much better play. The Menards batting order for the Twins in the middle game of this series. Eduardo Nunez at shortstop in the leadoff spot. Then Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Trevor Plouffe, Oswaldo Arcia, Byung-Ho Park, Eddie Rosario, and John Ryan Murphy.
Yeah, if you're Eduardo Nunez, you can't wait to get that bat in your hand. 7 hits and 9 at bats. He'll face Jared Weaver, making his second start. Those are his numbers against the Texas Rangers in Anaheim. Very, very good start. Now Weaver once maybe got that fastball in the low 90s, but not anymore. He relies on off-speed pitches, hitting the corner, excellent control over his career. And that little cutter right there comes in at 79. So you're not going to break the gun with Weaver anymore on the mound.
Just unplug it.
Yep.
In the bottom of the innings, and while he's out there, just unplug the gun. That's driven to right. Calhoun back. That's over his head. Another hit for Nuno. And he's going to round second and go to third. A leadoff triple for Eduardo Nunez. Where would this Twins lineup be without him?
8 hits and 10 at-bats right now for Nunez. His first triple. And his speed, of course, he lost his helmet right around second base, but Nunez getting this ball over the head of Calhoun, and then the ball ends up hitting in off the wall and ricochets away from Calhoun in right field. Nunez right there picking up the ball and then kicking it in right there for a leadoff triple.
And now Brian Dozier. And a first pitch strike. Middle infielders back, corner infielders up. With Dozier not playing last night, back in the lineup, and right away a chance to put the Twins up in front 1-0. Blocked by Soto. Hitting has been pretty much non-existent for the Twins up until last night. Situational hitting has been especially bad. And so here right away a situation where Dozier's got to get that run in.
Well, they're giving him an RBI if he just hits the ball up the middle on the ground. Stay away from what Brian's done a lot. Get underneath that ball and create pop-ups.
What we've seen from Brian in recent games, and it hasn't resulted in hits, but he is showing the intention of hitting the ball more to the opposite field. 1-2.
Well, this would be a good guy to work on that, because you have to stay back like Nunez did right there. Waited back nicely. Weaver left a pitch up and drove it the other way. There you go.
To second.
There you go.
And it's an out, but it's a run batted in. And the Twins take the first lead this afternoon.
Well, getting the job done when they're going to give you a run, just get that ball past the pitcher, which Brian Dozier did. He picks up his second RBI.
And I think with all his swings, the intent was to hit the ball to the right of the pitcher's mound instead of trying to pull the ball. Brian, I think, has gotten into that bad habit, and it's fine if you have pitches with which you can pull, but when you're getting pitched away as Brian has been. There's strike one to Mauer.
Well, talking to Tom Bernansky, if he wants that batting average to rise, Brian Dozier, one thing that bothered him last year, hit .236, even though he led the club in home runs, but you need a higher batting average, and you're going to only get that if you hit the ball up the middle and the other way.
2 strikes to Mauer. Joe continues to swing the bat well. Very encouraging sign for the Twins.
Yeah, 6-game hitting streak for Joe, hitting at .371. Has a home run. He's driven in 3 runs. Got a big hit in last night's ball game that tied the game.
2 strikes to Mauer. And a base hit to right field. We suggested that neither the Twins with Nolasco nor the Angels with Weaver knew really what to expect coming out of spring training. In Weaver's case, he's had shoulder issues The velocity tops out 83 miles per hour, hardly major league caliber fastball. And so it's a different challenge, but quite a significant less of a challenge than trying to hit like Garrett Richards, who can throw 96 last night.
You have to wait back. And Weaver last year missed some starts with the left hip inflammation. Missed about 6 weeks.
So here is Sano with a man aboard and a run already on the board. Strike on the outside corner. And a swing and a foul, 2 strikes. You know, it seems like it would be the natural assumption that the softer a guy throws, he would the easier he would be to pull. But you look where Weaver pitches you. He's not going to throw 83 miles per hour over the inner half of the plate. He won't last long if he does. So sometimes it's just the opposite of what you might think. Taken low. In other words, the velocity can dictate what you want to do, but more the location. And if he's going to pitch everybody away, the smart thing to do is to still try not to pull the ball, but to hit it to the opposite field.
Try to hit the ball up the middle instead of trying to pull the ball.
1-2.
Soto sitting away
to left center field, and over for the catch is Trout for out number 2. And that'll bring up Trevor Plouffe.
Well, last night's ball game in the 6th inning, a 9-pitch at bat against Garrett Richards, and Trevor Plouffe fouled that pitch off right there. I thought that was a defensive type swing, but he kept the at bat alive. And Richards trying to throw everything he can to try to get Plouffe out. Finally, that fastball stayed down, and Trevor almost golfed it over the head of Trout in the center field.
Bauer at first, 2 down. The benefit of long at bats like that goes far beyond whatever the result might be. Mike Scioscia talked after the game last night about how he was in a bind because Richards, because of the elevated pitch count, was only able to pitch 6 innings. Scioscia threw a lot of bullets at the Twins in the 7th using 4 different relievers, and that left the cupboard bare a little bit in the 8th inning. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
Well, it kind of started with Plouffe's at bat in the 1st inning. He saw 7, 8, 9 pitches in his first at bat. Richards ended up throwing 20 pitches, and then in that 6th inning, Richards used 31 pitches to get through that inning. A total of 104 in 6 innings.
Driven to right, a base hit. Mauer around second. He'll go to third. And Trevor going to the opposite field with another base hit, 3rd of the inning. Twins hitting some balls very well. Everything has been hit on the barrel against Weaver.
And we're talking about Brian Dozier getting a pitch that you want to maybe not watch this swing right here. Just takes that little cutter that stayed up. Didn't try to pull it, create a ground ball to short. Instead, a line drive base hit to right. Runners at 1st and 3rd with 2 outs now. So 3rd hit of the inning for the Twins.
Arcia looking for his first hit of the season, 0 for 8. Inside corner, strike 1. 0 for 8, 3 strikeouts. Arcia did hit a bullet late in the game last night. You call the home run.
Yeah.
His launch angle was too low.
He hit the heck out of it, but right at Calhoun in right field. And even Arcia, if you're sitting there watching Weaver pitch, you tell yourself you have to stay back.
Inside, and Weaver working Arcia inside, getting a strike on the inside corner and then missing.
Now Weaver at 6'7", about 210, 3-time All-Star. One of his best games pitched at the major league level, a no-hitter against the Twins back in 2012 in Anaheim.
Off-speed pitch floats away from the plate. late in Brad Radke's career, he had a fractured shoulder blade, and he was still pitching with it, and he couldn't hit 85 miles per hour anymore. And it's for a different reason, but Weaver's kind of where Radke was at the very end of his career, trying to get by with location and guile. And now 3-1 with Park on deck.
You see the velocity at 82 for Weaver, and then he'll drop it down to the 60s, upper 60s, 70s. He knows that's the type of pitcher he is now. And you see, high is 84, low is 67.
Big opportunity here for Arcia on a 3-1 count. Driven to center, weighted back beautifully, and hit a 66-mile-per-hour pitch for an RBI single.
That's a very good at-bat for Arcia. So many times we see him almost leave the ground to want to hit the ball. He weighted back nicely, as you mentioned, Dick, and just lined that ball into center. Watch him weight back. Kept the hands back. Yeah, the lower body kind of committed, but you see the hands. Watch the upper torso. Did a great job. So Arcia picking up his first hit of the year, driving in his first run.
Couple of runs here in the first, and this Twins team that struggled so mightily to score runs in the first 9 games has now scored runs in 4 straight innings. Ball 1. And when you're losing, and when you're struggling, and when you're constantly being told that things will get better, the guys will relax and they'll start swinging the bats, whether it's the manager, the hitting coach, or the TV announcers, when you hear that, you get sick and tired of hearing that. But it's very true. All it takes sometimes is one good inning, one good at bat, a high foul fly.
Whoa, that baby's up there.
Man alive. So the Twins have some good at bats in the 6th inning of the ball game last night, and then that causes everybody else to just kind of relax a little bit. And look what we've seen here. 6 at bats, and the ball's been hit hard in every one of them, and they've scored now in 4 straight innings.
Well, it could be a guy like Nunez, you know, that just kind of got him going. Trevor Plouffe hit. Mauer continues to swing a hot bat.
Taken low, 2-1. Already 25 pitches for Weaver.
You know, if Roy Smalley was up here, he said, yeah, lower part opened up quickly, but he kept the hands back. Very nice, solid swing by Arcia driving in that run.
Two and 1 to Park. Hit hard again.
Well, Weaver has had outstanding control and success against the Twins. His last 5 starts against the Twins. Look at the earned run average in his career, 9-2 with a 3.22 ERA. This is his 17th career start against the Twins.
Hey, I just saw Soto do something I've not seen before, I don't believe. He made the sign, and then he took his catcher's mitt, and behind Park's legs, he flexed the catcher's mitt. What's that mean?
Just maybe thinking that you're sitting inside, moving inside.
3-2. The runners will take off. Plouffe from second, Arcia from first. And ball 4. They are loaded up for Rosario.
Good take right there by Byung-Ho Park.
I don't know that I've seen a catcher do this before.
Well, sometimes they'll pat their glove.
But behind the batter? Well, the Twins already with 2 on the board. Charles Nagy, the new pitching coach for the Angels. Quick trip to the mound. Angels switching some coaching assignments. Don Baylor no longer involved in the hitting department, but Paul Sorrento, the former Twin, is.
Assistant hitting coach, yeah.
Scott Radinsky, the bullpen coach, stayed back in Anaheim. He's had some chest discomfort, and so he's being checked out there. And another former Twin, Eric Bennett, who pitched for the Twins in the mid to late 90s, is their new bullpen coach on an interim basis. Well, a big spot here. Twins already have 2 on the board. And Rosario hitting 8th. Comes up with a big spot with 2 gone. Up and away, ball 1. Swing and a miss. 1-1.
Rosario's never faced Weaver.
To center. Trout back to end the inning. The Twins get 2, leave 3, and a succession of well hit balls as the Twins leading early here in Minneapolis. Man Eduardo Nunez with a leadoff triple, later a run scored, and an early lead for Ricky Nolasco. Nolasco gave up a leadoff single, but then got the next 3 batters. Calhoun, Cron, and Simmons will hit in the Angels' second. Strike on the outside corner. Calhoun with, at the time, it looked like a back-breaking home run against the Twins. Pujols had just homered to tie the game. Then Calhoun, with a man aboard, hit a 2-run home run to put the Angels in front. That is foul. 2 strikes. And then the Twins came back to tie it, take the lead.
The Angels very high on this man right here, Calhoun, 28 years old. He's in his 5th season, and every year is getting better and better. Last year missed only 3 games for the Angels, hit .256, but 26 home runs for Calhoun, drove in 83 runs.
Off-speed pitch lifted to short left. And tracking it is Plouffe. Makes a nice running catch in foul territory. He ran about 100 feet to make that catch one away.
And had to keep his eye on the ball the whole way. Nice running catch down that left field line for Trevor Plouffe.
Trevor patting himself on the back for scoring from first on a double last night. This was maybe even a little more impressive in terms of
well, you see him keeping his eye. You let Arcia know that he has it. And great concentration. Nice catch by Plouffe for the first out.
And now C.J. Cron. And a base hit. Relief for Cron, who's really struggled. He jumps on the first pitch and lines a single.
Yeah, just 3 hits and 32 at bats prior to that base hit.
Let's check in with Marty Gellner.
Guys, last night we saw a potentially dangerous collision by the Twins in the field. Eduardo Nunez, who is playing second base, and Miguel Sano in right field. A pop fly kind of hit to no man's land. I talked to each of those guys today, and Nunez said he didn't hear Sano call the ball until it was too late. And he said after they hit, he kind of took a survey, made sure he had all his body parts, and said his knee hurt the most of all, but obviously it was good enough to play today. And Sano said, "Nah, I'm fine. Nunez is so soft. I didn't feel a thing." And we can laugh about that today, but when it happened, guys, that was pretty scary to watch.
Yeah, very, very scary, and thank goodness both of them were okay.
And as I've watched that maybe a dozen times since I saw it live, the frightening thing is if Nunez had not started to go into a slide in the outfield, the ball chopped up the line with Cron taking off. If Nunez doesn't start to go down, and it looked like he got Sano's knee in the left thigh, but my gosh, Nunez would have been absolutely flattened out there.
Saw where Simmons tried to swing at that pitch and hit it foul. A little hit and run put on by Mike Scioscia, even though they're down a couple runs.
This guy is so good with the bat this year. 38 at bats, only 1 strikeout. So you can do things like that when you've got a guy up there who is pretty confident that he can make contact. One and one to Simmons. He's already hit into 5 double plays. 2-1. Angels teams only hit into 13, and Simmons hit into 1 last night, leading the league with 5 GIDPs. Might be able to hear the wind. It's howling, blowing in from right field again. Which doesn't mean the ball won't carry to right center field. We've discovered that over the years here. Drop to the right side and past Dozier. Cron to second base. He'll hold up there. First and second, 1 down for Giovanni Soto. Watch the Twins on the go. Stop by the Fox Sports Go booth on Monday. The Twins will take on the Brewers. You can download the app and get a free Go cell phone wallet. Visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events for details. It's fun getting a wallet. You never know, there might be something in it.
Unlike yours?
I've got lots of stuff in my wallet.
Just none of that green stuff?
No, I carry a money clip.
Well, Soto in his first season with the Angels last year, kind of the backup catcher for the White Sox. Hit only .219.
Looked like John Tumpane wanted to call it a strike, but didn't. Ball 1.
Soto 3 hits and 14 at bats against Nolasco over their previous meetings. Soto originally came up with the Cubs. National League All-Star and Rookie of the Year back in 2008.
And a base hit to right. Sano charges, and everybody will be held. And 3 singles consecutively here in the second to fill the bases against Nolasco.
Good piece of hitting by both hitters. We saw the Twins in their bottom of the first inning take the pitch the other way. Simmons inside out on a high breaking ball, hit it to right field. And Soto right there shoots a ball to right.
Cliff Pennington, the batter, getting the start instead of Johnny Giavatello, who's struggling offensively, just 3 for 25. On the outside corner, and Nolasco gets ahead.
Yeah, Pennington, a switch hitter, as a guy that is also new to the Angels. Last year spent time with the Diamondbacks and the Blue Jays.
Off the plate, 1-1. Four singles in 8 at-bats against Nolasco, and 3 in a row have filled the bases with 1 out here in the second. Nolasco not a ground ball pitcher, but he'll take one here if he can get one. More of a fly ball pitcher. Chopped foul, and it's 1-2. Pennington a couple of strikeouts in his 7 at-bats this year. Wouldn't you say that Nolasco's curveball is his strikeout pitch?
Yeah, usually down and in to left-handers underneath their swing. Picked up 5 strikeouts in that 7 innings against the Royals. As you mentioned, they don't strike out much.
He came in with a fastball and a foul back to the screen.
Nolasco not as sharp as we saw him in Kansas City yet. Sometimes it takes a couple innings to find what's working, what's not working. John Ryan Murphy catching him this afternoon.
1-2. It's down the line with no hook. It'll at least tie the game. Soto will be held at third. 4 straight hits for the Angels, and it's 2 apiece.
A 2-run double for Pennington. That breaking ball, he wanted to get it down underneath, but it stayed up, allowed Pennington to make good contact right down that right field line. Just kind of hung right there.
Well, you can look like Murphy actually put his catcher's mitt down on the ground to remind Nolasco, let's bounce this thing, let's not leave it up, and Nolasco left it up and paid the price.
Neil Allen, the pitching coach, out to talk to his right-hander.
Four straight hits from the bottom 4 hitters in the Angel lineup, and they have 5 hits the first time through the batting order.
Ron Renicky talking to Soto right there, the third base coach. Remember Escobar, he likes to swing the bat. Twins playing back, they will concede a run in the infield.
And there's a breaking ball, strike 1. Already 9 hits on the board, and there have only been 17 plate appearances. Missing inside, 1-1. Well, you've given back a 2-0 lead. A couple of men in scoring position. You have 2 outs to get this inning. You'd like it, for many reasons, to be the next 2 batters because of who would hit third. Got Escobar, then Ortega, and then Trout, and then Pujols. Up the middle, a base hit. Soto will score. Pennington being waved around. Rosario's throw overshot the cutoff man, and they still get the out at second base. Just the second out of the inning, and it comes after the 5th straight base hit.
Got another ball left up right here by Nolasco. And Escobar lining it right up the middle. And Rosario comes in, and he kind of airmails the cutoff man. But a good throw by Murphy to second to get Escobar.
See a little confusion there on the cutoff with Plouffe and Park standing side by side. In that situation, I believe the way the Twins instruct the infield, Plouffe should be the cutoff man, and Park's responsibility is to stay at first and try to hold the hitter to a single with his presence near the bag. But in that case, it turned out okay because they ended up getting the out at second base. 2-0 now to Ortega. A 4-run top of the second for the Angels. A strike call, 2-1. In Nolasco's 7 innings in Kansas City, he only gave up 3 hits. He's already given up 6 here this afternoon. 3-1, Trout on deck. And a walk will bring Mike Trout to the plate with a man aboard. Ortega's reached on a fielder's choice, now a walk. Nolasco really struggling here this afternoon.
Neil Allen, Paul Molitor getting together. Neil Allen goes to the bullpen phone.
Trout hit a fly ball to center his first time up. Nolasco got him out on his front leg on a breaking ball and a lazy fly to Rosario in center. Twins got 2 but left the bases full in the bottom of the first. Well, the Angels have a 2-run lead. There goes the runner. Murphy's throw on the bag, safe. Perfect throw by Murphy, but a stolen base by Ortega.
Yeah, Ortega got a very good jump right there. Again, 192 minor league stolen bases. He did steal 1 base when he was with the Rockies in 2012, so his 2nd major league stolen base. Ortega gets into scoring position.
Mike Scioscia and a trainer will go out and check on Ortega. He got some dirt in his eye. Jammed his jaw maybe into the dirt. Ortega may have jammed his jaw into Dozier's knee.
Yep. The left knee of Brian Dozier.
1 strike to Trout. And now 2 strikes. Michael Tonkin warming up in the Twins bullpen. 6 straight Angels have reached here after the first out. Nice stop by Murphy. That ball landed in the middle of the left-handed batter's box.
Nolasco making his 249th major league start, has 100 wins, 89 losses. This is his 3rd season with the Twins.
1-2 to Trout. Breaking ball down and away. 2-2. Now a base is open, of course, and Pujols on deck. But we told you about Pujols' history against Nolasco.
That was a pretty good take right there by Trout, because that was almost the same pitch that he flew out to center in his first at bat. That breaking ball down and away. Murphy sitting inside.
And now 3-2. Jared Weaver had a long bottom of the first, and Nolasco's had an even longer top of the second.
This will be pitch number 29 this inning.
On the outside corner. A perfect pitch to end an otherwise bad inning for Ricky Nolasco. Now the Angels lead by 2. Fox Sports North is presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. Last night, the scoring didn't get started till we got toward the later innings, and here today, the early innings has already seen 6 runs on the board, 10 hits, and John Ryan Murphy, the only man who did not bat for the Twins in the first, leads off the second, taking strike 1. Northland Ford defense for the Angels. Rafael Ortega is in left, Mike Trout in center, Cole Calhoun in right, Escobar, Simmons, Pennington, Crone, the infielders, and the backup catcher Soto in there today. Up and away, 1-1. 31 pitches for Weaver in the first, and yet he's got a 2-run lead pitching to the Twins in the second. And Weaver, almost before Soto gloved that pitch, he looked off in the distance. It's clear he's not happy with his command, or the results for that matter, early on today. And something at 74 spun back over the screen.
Yeah, Weaver, we kind of showed Richards last night how he throws across his body, and Weaver has always been one that really steps way toward third base and throws across his body. But he's been able to get over that left leg.
Fly ball hit almost right at Mike Trout. Wind knocks it in a little bit, 1 down. That'll bring up Eduardo Nunez, who has not been denied at least first base in every at bat he's had since he has been named a starter.
Yeah, 8 hits and 10 at bats for Nunez. Led this ball game off in the bottom of the first with a triple. Later scored.
Sounds unbelievable. Another hit for Nunez. And it's a 1-out single. And let's check in with Marty Gellner.
Well, Dick and Bert, I found out 3 unique things about Eduardo Nunez. First, he plays other sports. He's a really good pool player and basketball player. Then Eddie Rosario told me Nunez thinks he is the best looking Latin guy. He believes he is a beautiful man. And translator Carlos Font told me Nunez has a unique laugh. It's loud and high pitched like a dolphin. So he is part Rico Suave, part flipper. He is Eduardo Nunez.
And as a starter in the Twins lineup, he's 9 for 9, and he's reached twice by being hit by pitches. You can't do much better than that.
No, you cannot.
Dozier drove Nunez in with a ground ball to the second baseman Pennington to put the Twins up 1-0. Nunez takes off, and he is in with a stolen base. Nunez doing a little bit of everything. His second steal in 4 tries.
Well, he got a good jump. As Ortega got a good jump against Nolasco. Soto always had a good arm, makes a good throw, but Nunez slides head first. And gets that left hand on the bag before Pennington can apply the tag.
Now you see what Pennington did. He picked his glove up as Nunez may have lost contact with the base in the continuation of the slide. 1-0 to Dozier. Dozier driving in his second run with the ground out in the first inning. He takes a strike.
Big slow curveball. Last time Weaver pitched here at Target Field, September 9th of 2013. Got a no decision. Twins won the game 6-3.
And taken outside, 2-1.
Very good win-loss record for Jarrett Weaver. 139 wins, only 81 losses. Has 13 complete games, 7 shutouts. One of those, the no-hitter against the Twins.
Swung on and missed, 2-2. What we've seen from Twins hitters gradually, and some excellent examples last night, a better two-strike approach. They have cut down on the strikeouts from the season's first week over the last few games.
Yeah, that was a cutter away. You see Joe Mauer on deck. Soto again sitting outside.
And tap foul. Dozier with 9 strikeouts and 34 at bats. There are 3 teams that have struck out more than the Twins now. Twins with 101 strikeouts on the season. Astros have played 1 more game. They've got 108. Texas has played 2 more games. They have 108. And the Blue Jays have played 1 more game. They've got 112 strikeouts.
Speaking of strikeouts, Weaver has 1,499 career strikeouts.
Soto again flashing his catcher's mitt behind the batter. And on Twitter, someone was nice enough to point out to me that Salvador Perez of the Royals does that. That's a signal to the third baseman that they're going to pitch the batter inside to be ready for a ball down the line in the event that Dozier pulls that pitch. That's pulled but foul.
Well, he didn't do it that time, and Dozier hooked it foul.
I don't know that the target wasn't inside.
Soto was sitting away.
Full count to Dozier, Mauer on deck.
And Weaver throwing a lot of pitches.
Slow breaking ball, tomahawked over by the tarp. I would imagine if you're a catcher, you really got to pick your spots when the guy tops out at 83, 84 miles per hour as to when you are going to pitch inside. You can't do it regularly, especially to somebody who loves to pull the ball like Dozier. Another 3-2. Popped up in foul ground. Cron does not make the play by the railing of the Twins dugout.
Yeah, it took his eye off maybe for a split second to see exactly how close he was to the railing. Right off the end of the bat. Cron coming over, look right there. He kind of looked at the railing. Dave Prumer, Tony Leo, the 2 trainers right there, right off the tip of the glove.
Another 3-2 to Brian Dozier. Hit him. And instead of Cron making the catch for the second out, Dozier ends up filling first base for Mauer. 2 on, 1 out. And today's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by the Silver Bullet Clean Crisp Coors Light. See Mauer off to a really good start. Remember his start in 2009 when he won the league MVP wasn't until May. He didn't play at all in April.
Yep. Started the season on the disabled list.
Still go down as one of the more remarkable MVP awards maybe of all time, certainly in Twins history, because Mauer didn't play a game in April. He won the award, the league-wide award, with a 5-month body of work. Mauer with a single and a run scored his last time up. Off-speed pitch. 76. Strike 1.
Joe had a good at-bat against Weaver in his first at-bat. Waited nicely and drove a ball up the middle for a base hit.
Up high. This is about as close as teams will ever play Mauer straight up in the outfield, and it's because of Weaver's lack of velocity. You shouldn't be late on any Weaver pitch, and so the Angels, although they're shifting a little bit towards left field, this is about as straight up an outfield defense as Joe will see. Off the plate, 2-1. In the second inning, the Twins had Michael Tonkin warming up, and I gotta believe that as taxed as the Angel bullpen might be after last night, that Weaver's running out of leash here. 2-1 to Mauer. 3-1. Sano on deck.
Weaver has one walk in the ballgame, that in the last inning to Park.
Look at that, 51 pitches, 20 of them this inning, and he only has one out. Good speed on the bases for the Twins. Nunez at second, Dozier at first. Liner to the second baseman, and it's a double play. And Weaver looks up to the heavens, appropriately given how poorly he's pitched. North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. The game's an hour old, and we're already going to the top of the third inning. Neither starter's done very well here today. Nolasco saw 6 straight batters reach, 4 runs scored in the second. And now he'll face the middle of the Angel lineup, Pujols, Calhoun, and Cron. 1-0.
Nolasco 13 pitches in the first, 29 pitches used last inning. Yeah, both starters after 2 innings have a total of 94 pitches to get 12 outs.
And now 3-0. Mike Scioscia was explaining yesterday one of the things he considers in deciding whether Pujols should play first base or DH is the facility in which he's playing. 3-0.
Pujols will have the green light if it's hittable.
Taps it to third. Pujols doesn't run well, so Plouffe has time to make the play. And a tag made by Park. And the Angels are going to claim, starting with Pujols, that the tag was never made. First base umpire Jeff Kellogg called Pujols out. And Pujols is claiming that he was never touched.
Yeah, for some reason Park came off the bag. The throw wasn't that bad. And he did tag Pujols right there.
Boy, if he did, he just got him by the billowing jersey. Yep.
Yeah, I quite don't understand why Park came off the bag to get that throw. It wasn't that bad of a throw.
They're going to look at it. The original call is out, and what we've learned over the last couple of years, that is a huge distinction. There's a lot of doubt here as to whether Park ever got his glove on any part of Pujols.
Well, you saw where Jeff Kellogg was set up. You know, he could not see if there was contact.
Pujols resolutely standing at first. He thinks he's going to be a base runner. But again, there has to be visual evidence to overturn the call, and I don't know that there was. You'd almost, in this case, you'd have to see air between the glove and the jersey.
Again, I don't know why Park came off the bag, because that throw was near the bag. Watch Trevor Plouffe flipping it over to Park. And if Park keeps his foot on the bag and catches it, he's definitely out.
I was talking with Paul Molitor before the game today about Plouffe's throw. The subject generally, and again, I don't know whether he touched him or not, but I don't think there's going to be evidence to overturn the call. Talked specifically about Plouffe and his improvement at third base, and said, well, he's got much softer hands. He's a much more competent third baseman. But then as the discussion continued, it was about generally infielders throwing on the run, not just Trevor, but you know, it used to be, and Paul was taught this too because he played some infield, if you've got time, and Plouffe had time on that play to set your legs underneath you and make a conventional throw, but you rarely see that. Everyone throws on the run, as Trevor did in that case.
Well, they work on it, you know, in batting practice, and they do call them out. So the call does stand. It's
all is confirmed, and Pujols will state his case, or try to. And again, it's a matter of the original call. And in the case of Jeff Kellogg, if he'd called Pujols safe, there just as likely wouldn't have been enough evidence to overturn the call to an out call. So Twins may have caught a break. It's the first out, and here's Cole Calhoun. Popped up near second base. Nunez calling for it. Miguel Sano way out in right field, so he's safe to make the catch. 2 down. Target Field suites are available for single game rental for groups of 16 to 150 plus. Enjoy a climate controlled experience and a fantastic view of the Twins game, food and beverage included. Learn more at twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWINS to schedule your suite at Target Field. 2 down. Here's Cron. Hit the first pitch he saw for the first of 5 straight hits for the Angels in the second inning. Got a single, just his 4th hit of the year. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Angels in the middle of a 10-game road trip that started in Oakland. And from here, the Angels will go to Chicago to play the White Sox.
Yeah, 4-game series in Chicago.
Given the weather forecast, and you come to the upper Midwest in April, you don't know what you're going to get. The coldest weather they may get on this road trip are the games in Oakland. 1-2 to Cron. High fly to right center field, and Sano drifting back makes the catch. A better inning for Nolasco as he faces just 3 men, and Miguel Sano will lead off the bottom of the inning.
Alasko had that in the second inning, but a 1-2-3 third keeps the game at 4-2 for the Angels.
Meanwhile, Jared Weaver's faced 12 batters. He's retired only 5 of them, and he's carrying a 2-run lead to the bottom of the third. Sano, Plouffe, and Arcia will bat. Sano hit a fly ball to center his first time up. How did you deal with declining velocity toward the end of your career? There's a 67-mile-per-hour breaking ball, strike one. If you're going to pitch for very long at all, either as long as Weaver has or certainly as long as you did, it's a fact of life. 2 strikes.
Well, you learn how to change speeds. That's exactly what Weaver's doing. He realized he can't get that fastball in the upper 80s anymore. It's a low 80s. So he has to change speeds. Everything again keys off the fastball. He has to hit the corner. He's coming up with a little bit of a cutter where, you know, he always had a good sinker. But that sinker kind of leaves when you can't really throw it at 87, 88
right,
and expect that ball to have a good drop to it. So you have to change speeds. Another breaking ball.
Off the plate, 1-2.
Weaver's had a good career. He's in his last year of his contract with the Angels.
And a strikeout of Sano on an 81-mile-per-hour pitch.
And that strikeout, the 1500th for Jarrett Weaver, 1,500.
Tomorrow, join Fox Sports North and the Twins for Let's Celebrate Baseball at the Mall of America starting at noon. Enjoy baseball-themed activities, take a picture at the Fox Sports North photo booth, grab free giveaways and more. Plus, learn how you can watch the Twins on Fox Sports Go. Visit foxsportsnorth.com, click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar. Soto came out to have a little chat with Weaver. Whatever the issue was, it's resolved and we're ready to go. Plouffe, the batter. Single to right field, his first time up. Over the inside corner.
Yeah, that strikeout of Weaver again, 1,500. He's the 201st major league pitcher to have over 1,500 strikeouts.
Driven to left field. Ortega back, gone. Number 2 for Plouffe, and it's 4-3.
I waited back nicely on this breaking ball that came right back into his swing. And it's a 4-3 ball game.
Twins have now scored in 5 of the last 6 innings. Only inning they haven't in that stretch, the second when Mauer lined into a double play.
You see Soto wants the ball away, and it stayed a middle in. And Trevor, it's a line drive home run.
Arcia got a pitch up and tried to spin on one strike. Arcia got his first hit of the year, a single in the first. Pop up straight up in the air. The wind may help the ball toward the net, but not enough on the warning track. Catch made, out number 2. And that'll bring up Young Ho Park. Car Soup trivia question with the Twins down a run here in the third. Which Korean-born player has the most career home runs in MLB history? Well, it's a relatively short list. I think I know the answer. Park with 102 home runs in Korea over the last 2 years. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Taken low, 1-2. Each team with 6 hits. Pulled on the ground sharply right at Escobar. And And that ends the third inning. Twins get their 5th home run of the year. Another solo home run by Trevor Plouffe, and it's a 1-run game. By T-Mobile. Get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. Dick and Bert and Marnie is joined by Roy Smalley. Roy's up in the booth here during the 4th inning as we carry on in a 4-3 ball game. First pitch chopped foul. Twins have scored now in 5 of the last 6 innings, and Roy made the comment before that fans understandably get a little frustrated when you say it, we say it, the manager says it, that this team just needs to relax a little bit, and then they'll start scoring runs, and that's typically how it plays out, though.
That's exactly how it plays out. Big come from behind win just got everybody off the snide. Everybody can breathe again. Good breaking ball there by Ricky, but you know, it's amazing how that works. When you finally break through and win, then everybody relaxes and swings the bat. They've had really good quality at bats, Bird, against Weaver so far in this game.
Yeah,
almost everybody up and down the lineup.
And they've weighted back nicely.
Yeah,
I think
really
I
well.
mentioned your name when Arcia was up there. You had to be very happy at the way that even though it was lower part of his body. And right there, Simmons, a strikeout victim.
Just his second strikeout in 40 at bats.
Nolasco gets his second strikeout. But the way that Arcia kept his hands back.
Absolutely, you're dead on about that. His stride landed, and he hesitated, and his hands were back, and that's why he was able to nail that breaking ball.
Soto singled and scored in the 2nd inning when the Angels did all their damage, and now suddenly it's like a switch has been turned on with Nolasco. He's set down 5 men in a row, and he's got much better command delivering strike 1.
Hey Roy, I know we're up here talking about the slide rule. You like it?
I am not a fan.
Well, now why would you say that? I mean, they're trying to protect middle infielders. You are a middle infielder. Why don't you like this?
Well, because that little love tap on the foot. I mean, I know you're not supposed to interfere, so you can't grab anybody. But if you notice that slide, it's so benign now. I believe in my heart, even though I was a shortstop, I believe that it's the right way to play the game to try and break up double plays. I mean,
now see on that call right there, that was just a force out. It wasn't like the middle infielder was going to try to get a double play.
I just hate the whole deal. The fact that you can't slide past the base. Look, the Chase Utley rule. Chase Utley's slide was awful. That was brutal. A defenseless guy out there with his back turned to him, and he got hammered. And I don't like that. But I think what's the game coming to if you can't, for your team, try to prevent the other team from making a double play. And if you slide where you can touch the base, and you slide first so that you're not jumping right into a guy and you're not body blocking into him, but just a good hard slide, fair. I mean, that's the way the game's played.
So are they teaching now you have to slide, I mean, like 10 feet before the bag rather than maybe
that's what you don't know. There's going to be a lot of figuring out what's going to happen.
Oh, nice play by Park.
And he feeds Nolasco as a 1-2-3 inning. He set down 7 in a row. Twins down by a run. They'll hit in the 4th inning. We'll have more with Roy Smalley when we come back. Down a run. The Twins flex plan gives you the flexibility to choose your games and your number of seats. Choose in advance or even the day of the game. So don't plan, flex plan. Go to twinsbaseball.com/flex or call 800-33-TWINS to learn more. Nick Bramer, Bert Blyleven up in the booth, joined by Roy Smalley. Eddie Rosario takes strike 1.
Hey, Roy, one more thing about that neighborhood play, too. A lot of times, you'll see the bang-bang play where the second baseman's getting the ball, say, at third baseman, and now you pretty much have to make contact with the bag, don't you?
Yeah, there's no really reason not to. The way they've watered down the potential contact at second base. Bert, when you and I played, I mean, there were assassins out there. There were guys coming after me when I was making, pivots at Hal McRae and Toby.
I was just going to ask if Hal McRae ever tried to get you.
Don Baylor. I mean, those guys.
George Brett
was great at it. And here's the thing I don't like about the rule. I really like no body block kind of slide. I really like that you have to hit the ground first before. But if you're hustling, if you're playing hard, and you slide hard into the base, you're going to go by the base. I mean, you can't help it. If you don't go by the base, you're not running hard enough and sliding hard, in my estimation. And I don't think there's a middle infielder out there that would argue with guys coming at you hard and sliding at your feet
directly into the base, rather than say a hand type of distance from the base where they're going to try to get you out in center field.
Right, and I don't mind guys as long as they can touch the base with some part of their body. I don't mind them coming after me. I mean, I really don't. That's because, by the way, if they don't slide early enough, I was throwing from down underneath and right through their noggin, And so I mean, it's just a battle out there, and that's the way the game's, in my view, the way the game's supposed to be played.
Little pop-up caught by Simmons, and Rosario is retired. That'll bring up John Ryan Murphy. Let me throw this out at you. The rules talks about a bona fide slide and a line that must be that the runner must stay to. In other words, you're running from first to second, you have to go directly to the base, and you can't veer at all one way or the other. Would you feel better about it if instead of a line there was a lane, where there was, as there is running to first base, a little more freedom as to right or left, how you can travel to get to the base.
Yeah, if they're going to say that you have to be able to touch the base with either your foot or your hand, then that kind of establishes the lane you're talking about, doesn't it? I mean, I think that as we see a mile-high pop-up.
And with it is Escobar, out number 2.
So yeah, I think that there ought to be, as we look at some of the wording of the rules. See, the bona fide slide here means that you got to hit the ground first, and you got to be sliding into the base, and I'm okay with that. But what it's becoming is that you see guys sliding into second base now. It's such a meek slide. I mean, everything changed. The roll block I'm okay with. You can't engage in a roll block. That could really end a guy's career. That's tough. And
that's as a pitcher, you protect your infielder. Next time he comes up, you drill him.
Well, and you used to do that. I remember that. And so the roll block idea is a good one. The late slide where you contact the pivot man first before you ever hit the ground, that's a good rule. But I just think that you got to be able to slide hard with the intent of breaking up a double play and for your team. And I think so far that's being taken away. I haven't seen one good slide since they put this rule in front.
So they put in bona fide slide. I don't know if that's French, Spanish, or Latin, whatever. And what we've learned up here is that the game was better when they just had a little frontier justice out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because we would take it in our own. And like I said, right. If a guy came after me, I remembered that. I broke a guy's hand one time. He tried to get me. The next time he came in there, I came from down under, and he threw it right through his forehead, and he went down and threw his hand up in the air and hit him in the hand and broke his hand, and he was out 6 weeks. So the message was, okay, I mean, if you're gonna come after me illegally, throw your leg up, try to spike me or something, come on in here. It's my turn. Come on in here again.
The best I ever saw at that was Cal Ripken as he was coming across the bag. He always threw sidearm at best.
Yeah.
And you say what a great accomplishment the Ironman streak is. Well, one of the reasons is runners going into second base with Ripken coming across the bag, they were not going to go in hard.
Well, he weighed about 220.
Right. And that had something to do with it too.
And threw from the side. Absolutely.
3-2 to Nunez. Are you kidding me? Great stop by Escobar, and he throws him out.
It's the only way you're going to get him out. A great play.
Nunez had been 9 for 9 with 2 hit batsmen in his prior appearances as a starter for the Twins. He's robbed of a hit, and we thank Roy Smalley for the 4th inning visit.
We'll get him, Roy. We'll get him.
We'll get him. Let me back out there.
Starters have settled in a little bit here after a very rough start for both Nolasco and Weaver. And Escobar, Ortega, and Trout will face Nolasco here in the 5th.
And Nolasco 9 pitches to get out of 3rd and also 9 in the 4th. So he has settled down nicely. 61 pitches right now for Nolasco.
First pitch strike to Escobar, drove in a couple of runs with a 2nd inning single, also led off the game with a single in the 1st. Hacked, foul, 2 strikes.
Escobar came up with the Braves, spent some time with the Blue Jays, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Washington Nationals last year. Now with the Angels.
Breaking ball away.
One walk, 2 strikeouts for Nolasco. Retired 7 straight.
And a bouncer up the middle. It'll be a base hit. 3rd single in 3 at bats for Escobar against Ricky Nolasco. Let's go to Marnie Gellner.
Guys, we are in the Minnesota Lottery Winners Circle. This is Wayne and Joyce from St. Cloud celebrating a 50th anniversary today. We have $100 worth of scratch-off lottery tickets for them. And Wayne surprised Joyce. He bought these tickets at the beginning of the season. You kept it quiet. You brought 12 family members here today. What's it like to celebrate with your family and the Twins?
Well, we were supposed to have a small get-together, and I didn't realize we were going to be at a Twins game, but it's great. Thank you very much. I'm enjoying it. So
small gathering with like 25,000 friends. And Joyce said she wanted it quiet. She did not want to be the center of attention. So we figured we would definitely put her on TV.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the lottery tickets, guys. Happy anniversary.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're both here by circle. Happy 50th.
Ortega reached in a fielder's choice, walked and stole a base. Squaring to bunt and the pitch outside.
Ortega just 24 years old. I mentioned in his first at bat 9 minor league seasons. Originally signed by the Rockies. Last year with the St. Louis Cardinal organization.
Nolasco more of a fly ball pitcher, so he's not going to get the number of ground ball double plays that, say, Alex or Kyle Gibson would get. Ortega hit a ground ball to Dozier in the 1st inning and was able to beat the relay.
Yeah, Escobar at first base in his career, 33 stolen bases, but he's been caught 25 times.
And there he goes. And Murphy's throw there in plenty of time. And Nunez just in protective mode after what happened last night, just kind of put his shoulder into the runner. 1 down. Good throw by Murphy again. We've seen that through spring training and in the regular season.
Yeah, might have been a hit and run right here. Escobar kind of slowed up right there. So Murphy throws out Escobar for the 1st out.
1-1 to the batter. On the left, and Arcia is over for out number 2. And that'll bring up Mike Trout. Since his rookie season, incredible numbers for a guy who they say still has another level to go. He's might be the best player in the game, and he's just entering his prime.
Yeah, 24-year-old Mike Trout already in his 6th season with the Angels. He can do everything on the baseball field.
And what he's already done has made him maybe tops on the list. And the Twins are hoping Byron Buxton will be in the top 2 or 3 as well of players who went through Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Cedar Rapids back in Trout's day was an Angels Midwest League affiliate. The Twins took that over. Buxton matched or surpassed a lot of Trout's numbers in Midwest League play in Cedar Rapids. 1-1. And now 2-1. And as talented as he is, you know, Trout's success didn't come immediately either. Hit 220 in 123 at bats. Rosario going back, and that ball is off the very peak of the wall, and Trout will be held to a single. Played beautifully by Rosario in center field. Trout, one of the fastest guys in the league, and he got a third of the way towards second and reversed field.
Yeah, I'm surprised he held up right there. I know he hit the heck out of the ball. It got there very quickly, but Mike Trout rounded first base, decided not to go to second. Look at that strong swing. The ball right into a swing. And Rosario goes back, and the ball caroms and hits right back to him. He gets it back in quickly. Trout hustling out of that box, and right about here decides to hold up. So Trout gets his first hit.
Fox Tracks was presented by Jeep, and here is Pujols. Now, Rosario had such a good year last year throwing. You wonder whether, you know, the scouting report that the Angels had on Rosario was, hey, be careful of his arm. Strong and accurate. Velasco's gotten Pujols twice already today. Squibbed off the end of the bat, and Nolasco makes a good play because Park went to the ball. There would have been no one at first base if Nolasco hadn't picked up the squibber. A scoreless fifth. The Angels by 1. Twins down a run, hitting in the fifth. Brian Dozier leads off, takes a breaking ball low, ball 1, with Escobar playing a deep third base, and he starts now for the second pitch of this at bat in on the edge of the grass. That's how this is supposed to work, right there. He played a deep third base. Dozier bluffed the bunt, brought him in, and then hit a liner right past him.
Yeah, Dozier picking up his first hit. So you're right, Escobar coming in, the pitch left up. Brian turning on it as he does so well, lines it into left field. You see where Escobar's playing. He was playing back the previous pitch.
And now Mauer with the tying run aboard. Twins had a chance to really bust the game wide open in the second, with runners at first and second and 1 out. Mauer hit a rocket to Pennington, who started a 4-6 double play, and Sano was on deck. It looked like Mauer was going to walk. The Twins were going to have the bases loaded, have Weaver on the ropes again in the second, but he got out of it. One strike to Mauer. There's a bunt, and that will go foul.
Tell you what, that's something that we saw Joe in last night's ball game. His first at bat, try that, and maybe trying to be a little bit too fine with that bunt. Just lay it on that grass. Great try right there.
You really don't
Mauer.
need to have using the element of surprise at all. If you put it on the ground, Weaver's not going to get there. The third baseman Escobar was playing about where a shortstop would normally play. And that's kind of altered the Angels' thinking, even with 2 strikes. Dozier at first, 0-2 to Mauer. Inside, 1-2. .37 at bats for Mauer on the young this season, and just 4 strikeouts. Yet another reason why this there's signs of return to normalcy for Mauer. Not just the batting average, not just the on base percentage, but last year for the first time he struck out more than 100 times, and we haven't seen nearly as many strikeouts.
Keep an eye on Dozier at first base. Remember, Nunez stole a base in the second inning off of Weaver.
Dozier goes down and in, and Dozier has an easy steal of second. A breaking ball in the dirt. Soto had no chance.
Yeah, I was kind of watching Brian Dozier. He had a pretty good jump right there, and the Weaver again, he's not, getting that ball in even the mid 80s. So this ball down, and Soto's got a great arm, but Brian got a great jump off of Weaver. Steals his second base of the year.
Weaver trying to limp through 5 innings here. Corey Rasmus warming up. One of the few Angel relievers who didn't pitch last night. Houston Street the other. 2-2 to Mauer. Pulled foul.
And Joe knows what his job is. Hopefully try to get Dozier over to third.
Up and in, chopped foul.
Well, you saw Joe right there. Even though the pitch was up, he's still trying to pull that ball.
What a beautiful day here at this beautiful ballpark. He's trying to pick up their second win of the year, hours after picking up their first. Another chopper foul. Joe singled and scored in the first. The Twins got a couple in the first. Threatened in the second. Blue hit a homer in the third, and then Weaver had a 1-2-3 fourth. Just off the outside corner. He just missed his spot, and it's 3-2.
Yeah, Weaver in his first start of the year last week against the Rangers threw 84 pitches in 6 innings. You see ball down and away. This will be pitch number 90.
A high fly to left. Ortega going back, makes the catch at the fence. Dozier alertly tags and advances to third. Good base running play by Brian Dozier.
Right, Joe gave it a ride right to the 377 mark, and he does his job. He advances Brian Dozier. You're right, Brian Dozier right here. He's following the ball. He goes about a third of the way, and then realizing that this ball, if it doesn't go out, he's got to tag up and move over to third. Ortega, with the shades on, makes the catch. And right there, watching the flight of the ball, and then tagging up, and scoots over to third.
How'd you like to be the left side of the Angel infield? They're going to bring the infield in here with Miguel Sano at the plate. 0 for 2 against Weaver. Target is a foot off the plate. Soto set up behind the left-handed batter's box on the first pitch. And again. Well, the first 2 pitches, the target was a foot off the plate.
There he goes again.
3-0. By putting Sano aboard, of course, the Angels would set up a double play, but Plouffe has a single and a home run against Weaver here this afternoon. Four-pitch walk, and Soto to the mound. They wanted no part of Miguel Sano in that at bat. Plouffe with maybe the most important plate appearance of the year last night, and he's continued to hit the ball hard here today. An RBI single to right in the first, and then he pulled a home run 8 rows deep into the left field seats in the third. 5 home runs for the Twins. They've all come with the bases empty. And hoping to at least get Dozier in from third with the tying run.
Well, Trevor in his last at-bat got a ball down and in. He's got to look out over the plate, do what he did in his first at-bat.
Fouled back.
And that's drive the ball to right field. Weaver's been walking a tightrope since the first inning.
To left field, toward the corner, and away from Ortega. Dozier scores. Sano to third. It's a double for Plouffe, who's stinging the ball and driving in runs.
Well, a base hit in the first, a home run in the third, now a double here in the fifth. Ties the game at 4 apiece. Both pitches inside. I'm surprised they went in on Plouffe, only because, you know, Weaver doesn't have that explosive fastball inside. Allows Trevor to open up and pick up the tying RBI, and Weaver's afternoon is done.
And the Twins with a chance to retake the lead here with Weaver leaving in the fifth.
Fluffy. T1 is what I call him. I'm T2 if you're wondering.
Definitely LA.
Typical Cali boy. You know, so super laid back.
A lot of fun on and off the field.
Similar to Doja with the hair.
One of my better friends on the team.
Veteran, also one of our team leaders.
He knows what he has to do to prepare himself for every game. He'll have veteran at bats.
Works hard every day. You know, he's worked a ton on his defense and to try and make himself a complete player, and it's showing.
Well, the story in baseball the first week of the season was Trevor Story. And the last few hours here in Minneapolis, it's been Trevor Plouffe. Big RBI double, and now the Twins have a chance to take the lead with Arcia at the plate and Rasmus on the mound.
And Corey Rasmus, a right-hander coming in. Hard-throwing right-hander, curveball and the changeup. It's in his 4th season with the Angels.
Arcia with a single his first time up to center field, then he fouled out to Soto. Up and away, ball 1. Now you're looking at 92 instead of 82.
I was going to say that looks like about 102 after Weaver.
Swing and a miss. A breaking ball down and in. Arcia got his first hit of the year in the first inning. Now trying to drive in his first run. Beg your pardon, he does have the 1 run batted in. 2-1. Hits on the board, 4 runs apiece. The Twins, who had a 2-0 lead after the first inning, hoping to open up another lead here after the 5th. Off the plate, 3-1. Park on deck. In the Chicago series, the Twins scored 2 runs in 2 different games, neither one scoring on a base hit. Over the inside corner, 3-2, and now 3 run scoring innings in a row to end last night's game, and they've scored in 3 different innings here today.
Rasmus went with a hard breaking ball on the 3-1 count.
Full count to Arcia with first base open. Popped up.
Go foul.
And over the Angel dugout and out of play. And Soto to the mound to talk to Rasmus. Weaver just struck out 1 man, and that'll be Arcia's challenge here. He's very strikeout prone, but trying to put the ball in play and trying to get Sano in from third base. And of course, on the other side of the coin, Soto and Rasmus trying to figure out how to strike the guy out. Three and 2 to Arcia. And foul.
Rasmus from a baseball family. His father Tony was drafted by the Angels back in 1986. Played 3 years in a minor league system. Brother Kobe with the Astros, and he goes to the breaking ball and picks up a big strikeout.
We'll bring up Park at a key spot. Follow Twins Baseball live with the MLB.com @BAT app. Customize at bat to feature the Twins and stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day. Live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Plus, subscribe to At Bat Premium to get the MLB.TV Game of the Day, radio broadcast, in-game highlights, enhanced Game Day features, and more. Big at bat for Byung Ho Park. Delivered a big RBI double to help the Twins win the ball game last night. Park walked in the first, hit a ground ball to Escobar in the third. Fouled back, 2 strikes. Carsoup.com trivia question involving Korean players. Shin-Soo Choo has got to be the guy, doesn't he? 139 home runs. Two strikes to Byung Ho Park. And now 1-2. Twins in the inning. 2 hits and a walk, stolen base, the tying run. But 2 men out there in scoring position. A drive to left, but it's hanging in the air to Ortega, who ends the inning. Nice job by Rasmus as he strikes out Arcia and gets the Angels off the field in a tie game. There's a lot to get caught up on.
Twins took a 2-0 lead in the first inning, but the Angels came back with 5 straight hits, highlighted by Cliff Pennington's 2-run double, and then Escobar, a 2-run single, made it a 4-2 ball game. But the Twins came fighting back thanks to Trevor Plouffe here this afternoon. A home run in the 3rd inning, then an RBI double in the 5th that just tied the game at 4 apiece.
Cole Calhoun with Ricky Nolasco still out there for the Twins. He'll be followed by Crone and Simmons.
And Nolasco battled through that 2nd inning, but since then he's only given up a couple hits, both of them last inning.
And now 2-0. Calhoun with just under 1,400 big league at bats. He's 28 years old. Mike Scioscia was saying before the game today about Calhoun, it really doesn't affect Calhoun that much. He doesn't think where he hits in the order. Busted bat, and Calhoun slams his bat down in the dirt near home plate. 1 away. That awful, nauseating sound. 1 away.
I've seen you in fantasy camp. You should pitch, okay? You should like this sound. Good sinking fastball down and away. You can see It almost like his hand, he got his hand.
One down, and that'll bring up Crone.
That hurts. That smarts.
You know, that's one thing. Paul Molitor, obviously losing the first 9 games. He's tried a bunch of different lineups. He's only had the same lineup twice so far in 11 ball games because things haven't been working. And I know for a lot of reasons he would like things to start clicking for this team, and then you can leave some people in the same spot in the order. Another 2 hopper. This one hit right at Dozier. And Crone's retired, 2 down. Join the Minnesota Wild for a playoff pregame party on Monday from 4:30 to 7 p.m. at the XL Energy Center. Fans will enjoy music, food, beverages, happy hour prices, interactive games, NHL alumni autographs, and more. For more details, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events.
Well, you know, Dick, Paul was just trying to find some guys that were swinging a good bat, and he went to Nunez and said, okay, you know, let's try you. And he responded. Yeah. And now some of the other guys' bats are starting to wake up a little bit.
This one chopped in front of Plouffe.
Oh, good inning for Nolasco.
3 ground ball outs. Park kept his foot on the bag. And a quick top of the 6th inning. Absolutely gorgeous Saturday afternoon. It's the middle of April, but it feels like June or July. How lucky are we to be here?
Very lucky.
And the Twins scoring some runs, getting some hits. Sanford Health Injury Report. Charlie Blackmon of the Rockies has turf toe on his left foot. Put him on the disabled list. It'll be Eddie Rosario leading things off. Rockies surprising people. They're off to a decent start, winning 6 of their first 10. Rosario takes outside ball 1. He'll be followed by Murphy and then Nunez. And on the outside corner. Waiting for Rosario's bat to start picking up. Popped up behind third. It'll be chased by Escobar and Simmons. And foul ground. Simmons makes the catch. It's 3 fly ball outs for Rosario, 1 away. And that'll bring up Murphy. He's hitting the ball in the air a couple of times as well. Murphy with a fly to center and a foul out to Escobar.
Yeah, Murphy now 1 hit in 13 at bats so far on the young season.
Both catchers, Murphy and Suzuki, hitting below 100. Papa. Long wait for Soto, out number 2. And back to the top of the order, and Eduardo Nunez. Nunez with a triple, a single, and then he had an extra base hit taken away. Standing play behind the third base bag by Yunel Escobar.
Looks like Soto will be getting a new mask.
Busted the strap, apparently.
It was our 7th season here at Target Field. I don't recall a game where the catcher has caught 2 foul balls behind home plate like Soto has.
Not a whole lot of room here.
No, there isn't.
Nunez trying to start something with 2 out in an inning, and Rasmus doing his job. He's retired all 4 batters he's faced so far. Ball 1.
Took a great play by Escobar to get Nunez out in the 4th inning. 9 hits and 12 at bats.
And there's one on the outside corner. Off the end of the bat, a spinner for strike 2.
Nunez, 28 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Came over from the Yankee organization to the Twins a couple years ago.
One and 2 with 2 down. That's wide of third. If you believe in omens, and I don't recommend it, I don't discourage it, but if you believe in omens, then maybe last night's game was more significant than just the win itself. Both Nunez and Sano escaped injury after their collision. Nunez got hit by a pitch again, didn't break anything. Buxton didn't break his hand when hit by a pitch a couple days ago. 1 and 2. And now 2 and 2.
Well, what a win did for the Twins. It's more spiritual than anything. They could just take a deep breath.
And a swing and a miss. Nunez strikes out. Rasmus has retired all 5 men he's faced. Story of the game in a tie game.
Yeah, Twins took a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the 1st, but the Angels scored 4 in the top of the 2nd inning. But Ricky Nolasco, he has shut the door since. Through 29 pitches in the second inning, 9-9, 13 and 6. And thanks to some offensive help off the bat of Trevor Plouffe here this afternoon. Home run and then the RBI double that tied the game in the 5th inning.
And he sticks a fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. 8 hits for the Angels, and they strung 5 of them together consecutively to put together a 4-run inning. And strike 2, another breaking ball, 0-2. Soto, Pennington, and Escobar in the 7th. Pitch count still really good for Nolasco. He gave the Twins 7 effective innings in Kansas City on Sunday.
There it is, strike 3.
Slider, fastball.
That slider or that fastball started the outer half of the plate and came back for strikeout number 3 for Ricky Nolasco.
Perfect pitch. 1 down, and now Pennington doubled in the middle of that string of 5 straight hits. And made a bid for an extra base hit down the line, but Park was there to pick it off and make the play to Nolasco. Hacked foul.
What was nice about that play that Park made was that ball came up at the last second. And Nolasco over there to cover first. That ended the 4th inning on that nice play.
Down and in, 1-1.
You know, you're going to have hiccups, and Nolasco had one in the 2nd inning, but boy, I'm impressed by the way he has come back and continue to put the zeros on the board and keep the club in the game.
Roller to second. Easy play for Dozier. 2 down. Be interested to hear from Murphy and Nolasco after the game about what happened in that 2nd inning, whether they fell into a pattern that the Angels picked up on, or what exactly happened, because he had a good 1st inning, and then every inning after that has been good too.
He just let some pitches up. That's what I think they will say, that, you know, I think they wanted to make the pitch down, but the pitches that he left up to Pendleton and also Escobar fought off a curveball, I believe, that got the 2-run single. He hit it right back up the middle.
Escobar has 3 singles, and he takes an off-speed pitch, a slower breaking ball, for strike 1 on the corner.
He struggled with that curveball the first couple innings, Nolasco. Now he feels like, I think he has a better feel for it.
Left that one up high.
He throws different speeds with that breaking ball. He'll tighten it up to where it's a shorter break, and then he makes the bigger one, almost like a changeup. That's a little slower. That's some movement on that fastball.
Missing inside. 2-1. Chopped foul, 2-2. Nolasco retired only 5 of the first 11 men he, 5 of the first 11 men he faced because of the Angels' string of hits in that 2nd inning. 2-2. Breaking ball, and now a full count. Ortega on deck.
Good. That's more of the down hard breaking ball there that credit Escobar. He laid off of it.
Only 1 walk issued by Nolasco, and that came at the end of the 5 straight hits in the 2nd inning. Three and 2 to Escobar. Just missed the outside corner. It's a walk. It'll bring Ortega to the plate. Escobar was thrown out trying to steal in the 5th inning, but that was very likely a missed hit and run opportunity. Now he's aboard with a 2-out walk. Ortega reached in a fielder's choice in the first, walked and stole a bag in the second, hit a fly ball to left in the fifth. Just called up today with Daniel Nava going on the disabled list with a reoccurrence of some chronic knee issues.
Some tendonitis in his left knee.
On the outside corner, strike one.
Some action in the Twins bullpen. Like Ryan O'Rourke is up, just getting called up.
Back in the second inning, Michael Tonkin was warming up. Casey Fiend out there as well. One strike to Ortega. Breaking ball and strike two. What we saw in Kansas City, and we've seen it more since the second inning, but it's nice to have swing and miss stuff, but Nolasco's getting a lot of called strikes.
Well, you know what? This guy's a veteran. Yes, it's been frustrating 2 years for him, but he's out to prove that, you know, what they paid for him, hopefully this year and next year, that it's worth it. Again, making his 249th major league start, so he knows how to make the adjustment. He was not real sharp the first couple innings, but since that 4-run second inning, he has settled down nicely. He's only given up 2 hits, both of them in the 5th inning.
And protecting the plate, Ortega fouls it to the screen.
Velasco's always had excellent control. Just over 1,500 innings pitched in his career, averaging 2.1 walks per 9 innings and about 7 strikeouts per 9.
And a base hit to center, and now Trout will come to the plate with 2 men aboard. And throwing behind the runner. Rosario firing one to Dozier, and the runner Escobar almost rounded too far. First and second, 2 down, and here comes Paul Molitor.
Yeah, too good a pitch right there. Ortega fighting off that fastball, hitting right up the middle.
No signal given yet. You've got a veteran on the mound, and certainly a 24-year-old veteran, one of the best players in the league, and they're going to let it go here and let Nolasco face Trout rather than bringing in Fiend.
You give Nolasco an opportunity to get this final out here in the 7th inning. Trout, a fly ball to center, a strikeout, then a base hit in the 5th inning.
His base hit was absolutely crushed to straightaway center field. It missed clearing the wall by maybe a foot or 2, and Rosario got the ball back into the infield quickly, and Trout was held to a single. So Nolasco needs to have a better result here in the 7th to keep this a 4-4 game. Down and away. Backed off to 82 miles per hour and shaved the corner.
Well, you like a challenge, and this is a great challenge for Nolasco. This might determine the outcome of this ball game right here with Mike Trout up. Whatever you have left in the tank, you throw it right here. Two good breaking balls.
1-2 with Trout taking 2 strikes.
One thing I have seen from Mike Trout, he likes the ball down. He's a good low ball hitter. Can he sneak another breaking ball by him?
What a stop by John Ryan Murphy. That ball barely made it to the dirt.
Yeah, I don't think he got any glove on it. I believe that hit his right arm. Take a look at this pitch right here. Yep. The right forearm knocked it down. In the wrist area. Murphy out there to get some feeling back in that arm. He tried to throw that curveball underneath the plate.
And you hope that Murphy won't need that throwing arm for a little while. 2-2 to Trout. Tapper to third. Plouffe to the bag.
All right, good job.
One bad inning for Ricky Nolasco. The other 6 were really, really good, and we've got a tie game.
You know, that I need to prove that the pitcher that I was early in my career, and in 2013, the reason why they signed me. So had some bumps in the roads with some injuries and things like that. So I think all those things are past me. So I think that just got to prove I'm healthy, like the pitcher I was, and things will take care of themselves.
Brian Dozier takes outside, ball 1. Well, he's done that. He's the only Twin starter to go 7 innings, and he's done it twice.
Yeah, getting a handshake right there by Neil Allen. 100 pitches for Nolasco, and again, he struggled into second, but really settled down nicely. Only 3 base hits, singles, over the next 5 innings.
Dozier leading off the bottom of the 7th. Then he takes a strike, 1-1. 5 up, 5 down for Rasmus. Here in the 7th, it'll be Dozier, Mauer, and Sano. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
And hard breaking ball by Rasmus. Couple strikeouts so far.
Dozier's had 3 productive at bats. Drove in a run with a ground ball in the first, hit by a pitch in the second, then singled, stole a base, scored the tying run in the 5th. And now 2-2. Popped up right side. Twins hitting the ball in the air a lot against Rasmus. Pennington with the catch, 1 away.
Well, Ricky Nolasco, as I mentioned, he gave up a base hit in the first inning, got out of that, and then 5 straight hits in the second. And at that time, the Angels had a 4-2 lead, but he put zeros on the board the last 5 innings. 3 strikeouts, couple walks for Nolasco, 65 strikes in 100 pitches he threw. So he battled here this afternoon.
Bauer with a single and a run scored. He lined into a double play in the second, then hit a fly ball to deep left field in the 5th inning. So he's made good contact again 3 times today. Strike on the outside corner. And now inside 1-1.
Rasmus, 28 years old. He was traded by the Braves to the Angels for left-handed pitcher Scott Downs back in 2013. Number 1 pick by the Braves back in 2006.
2-1.
Ryan Presley up.
Presley pitched last night. 2-1 to Bauer with 1 gone in the 7th. And on the outside corner to even the count. Fouled back, got a pitch up and spun it back to the screen. Mariners beat the Yankees 3-2. King Felix Hernandez over CC Sabathia. Two and 2 to the Twins first baseman. Designated hitter today. To short left center. And fighting the sun, making the catch, is Ortega for out number 2.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Well, at least there's something worth disseminating these days, even though you can't do it. Twins scoring some runs finally. Here is Sano. 0 for 2 with a walk. Ball 1. Double last night, his first extra base hit of the season. Oh, breaking ball.
That looked hittable. Take a look at this breaking ball.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. And now 2-1.
Sano still looking for his first home run.
Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. And that evens the count at 2-2. Sano was the only strikeout victim for Jared Weaver. Arcia and Nunez have struck out against Rasmus. Strike 3. Rasmus outstanding, having retired all 8 men he's faced in relief.
I'm Jeff Grayson with your Mall of America Studio Sports Update. Don't go away long because we've got hockey for you tonight on Fox Sports North. Coming up, before Game 2, the Wild and the Dallas Stars join us for a 1-hour Wild Live pregame show. And then we've got Game 2 on Fox Sports North.
Well, thank you, Jeff. The Wild shut out in Game 1, and it didn't look good at all. But if they can come back and win Game 2, now suddenly you've got home ice advantage.
Go Wild,
so we'll see what happens tonight. Ryan Presley faced 4 men, retired 3 of them through only 11 pitches last night.
Yeah, this is the 11th game for the Twins, and Ryan Presley making his 7th relief appearance. He threw only 11 pitches last night, 9 of them strikes, a shutout inning.
And he'll face Pujols to start the 8th inning. Pitch is up, ball 1. Presley came in after the Calhoun home run last night in the 7th inning. Chopped foul, 1-1. He faced Simmons, Perez, the catcher, Giavotella, and Escobar.
Brian with a good fastball. You just saw that slider, who has a big downward type breaking ball and a changeup.
Two and 1. Lasco, who had really had a hard time with Pujols in their matchups earlier, retired him all 3 times. A couple of ground balls and a fly ball. Fouled away. 2-2. We're talking about Pujols, and he tells Mike Scioscia when he wants to play first base, and he bases that on whether there's a batting cage accessible to the visiting dugout. Here there is at Target Field, and so between at bats, Pujols will go into the cage and swing off the tee, flips, whatever, to stay loose. Breaking ball hit to deep left center field. Rosario going back, tracking it, and a collision on the wall warning track, but I believe Rosario made the catch. Reaching behind Arcia, Rosario with a catch for the first out of the 8th.
That just shows you how strong this Pujols is, because that was a breaking ball and he hit it to the deepest part of the field. This ball had some hang time. It allowed Rosario and Arcia to get over there. And it is Arcia that going to his right. He's got it. He's calling Arcia off, and Rosario makes the catch. And they collided, made contact after the catch. And Rosario able to keep it in his glove.
1 down. Of course, Rosario normally corner outfielder, but Byron Buxton's hand still is keeping him from swinging the bat for at least another day. And Danny Santana, who would have been the other option, is healing on the disabled list with a pulled hamstring. One strike to Calhoun. A couple of infield pops and a ground ball. Chop toward third. Plouffe spins, fires, 2 down.
That's a nice play by Trevor right there, because that ball didn't come up on him all the way. It kind of stayed down, and he makes a nice play at third.
Again, the discussion this morning with Paul Molitor was Plouffe's improvement defensively, and I said, where have you seen him improve the most? And I thought the answer would be footwork, because I think we've seen a little bit of that, but he said no, his hands are so much softer than they used to be. And on awkward plays like that, where you've got maybe a funny hop, to be able to absorb the funny hop with softer hands, he's able to continue on and get the out. Strike 1 over the inside corner to Crone. such an abstract phrase, at least it always has been to me. Soft hands. You know, how do you get them? Everybody wants them, I guess, if you're a defensive player.
I think it takes time. It takes time to adjust to that.
Fly left center field, deep to the gap. Rosario on the warning track makes the catch. A 1-2-3/8 for Ryan Presley, and Trevor Plouffe, soft hands and all, is going to grab it back and lead off the bottom of the inning.
Of the 8th inning here at Target Field. Trevor Plouffe is going to lead off this inning, and he is one of the players we'll be talking about in Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. The pop that Plouffe has provided for the Twins this afternoon, 3 for 3, including his second home run of the season. We'll also look at Ricky Nolasco, how he struggled in the second inning, but then recovered enough to pitch 7 pretty effective innings for the Twins. And we'll hear from the manager, as always, Paul Molitor. That is coming up right after the final out this afternoon. Dick and Bert.
All right, thank you very much. After that great at bat last night, Trevor's continued to swing the bat well today.
Yeah, good at bat in the first inning when he took that ball the other way. In the third inning, his second home run of the year. That made it a 4-3 ball game, and then he tied the ball game with an RBI double in the 5th inning that scored Brian Dozier. So all he needs here is a triple. That's all, and he'll have to do it against Joe Smith, if you believe that's his real name. But Mr. Smith coming in for the 6th time. He's tough. He is a tough pitcher. In his 3rd season with the Angels, Twins saw a lot of him when he was with the Cleveland Indians.
Plouffe, Arcia Park scheduled.
Smith gives you that sidearm, underarm type of delivery, a frisbee type breaking ball. Good sink on his fastball.
On the outside corner, 1-1.
Smith has been durable for the Angels. 70 appearances last year. 2 years ago, 76 appearances out of that bullpen.
Strike 2 on the outside corner. Angels had an off day on Thursday. They spent it here in Minnesota, so the relievers, who've been used an awful lot, got a bit of a break. Smith wasn't in the game last night. Neither was their closer, Houston Street. So breaking ball in front of the plate, 2-2. How about the job Rasmus did? He got out of a jam in the 5th, getting Arcia and Hart to strand 2 runners in scoring position, and then didn't give up a base runner after that.
8 up, 8 down. Reed had 3 strikeouts.
3-2 with Arcia on deck. Such a wonderful time of the year. Plouffe came into the game hitting 200. He's got 3 hits and he's hitting 263. To the right side, a 2-hopper hit to Cron, and he'll go to the bag ahead of Plouffe, 1 away. That'll bring up Arcia.
Even though he made an out right there, that's pretty good hitting right there. Not trying to pull that ball, just took it the other way. Cron was playing off the line, and it became a foot race, and Cron won the battle to the bag.
Yeah, there's a big hole over there. He just didn't hit it. And now Arcia drove in a run with a single in the first, fouled out in the third, and then he was the first guy that Rasmus faced with the go-ahead run at third and 1 out. And Arcia battled it for a while, but he ended up striking out on a breaking ball. Down and away, ball 1. On the season now, Arcia 1 for 11. Up high, 2-0.
Took something off that pitch.
As we were last night in the late innings, we're in a situation, the Twins are, they have Buxton Speed available to them off the bench. So it's important for Arcia to get on base here. That's hit to left center field and hit well towards the bullpen. Goal! A home run! Oswaldo Arcia puts the Twins up with his first home run of the year.
Well, he got his first hit in the first inning that drove in a run. And now his first home run gives the Twins a 5-4 lead. So Arcia getting an opportunity to get some at-bats last night and here this afternoon.
And it's funny how this game can turn around on you in a hurry, as Jepson getting loose after getting the save last night. Arcia has something to prove. He committed himself in the offseason to be considered a prospect for the Twins. Then the deflating at bat in the 5th when the go-ahead runs at third, 1 out, and you're trying to get that run in, and he ends up striking out. But in the next at bat, the biggest home run of the year perhaps for the Twins this year. And now outside 1-2. You get a glimpse there of how powerful that man is. He hit it off the back wall of the bullpen out there as a left-handed batter. Down and away, 2-2.
Yeah, Arcia is one of those guys you watch batting practice. You see that ball jump off his bat.
The reason the Twins have been so reluctant to risk losing him, the power to all fields. This one hit high and deep to center. Trout back. Gone into the new seating area in center field. A mammoth blast to straightaway center.
Jim Thome would be proud. Wow. Mark's second home run of the year, back-to-back home runs, give the Twins a 6-4 lead over the new limestone out in center field into the catch area.
All right, Rosario, what do you got? Two very impressive home runs, neither one pulled. And we were talking about that during the Chicago series, how Thome hit 2 of them over the batter's eye, the only batter to ever do that. And now here just a couple games later, Park hits one that looked like it would have gone over the batter's eye.
And he hit it off a guy that is very stingy as far as giving up home runs, Joe Smith.
To right field and deep. Caught on the edge of the track for out number 2. See the ball, look at it in the number 1, Oswaldo Arce, a 419. That's the distance of Arce's blast. And it ends up scattering some patrons in the catch area. Wow. 462 feet they measure that at. That draws some oohs and ahs.
Wow.
As it should.
And what was Arce's? Only 419?
419.
Is that it?
John Ryan Murphy. Chopper in front of Escobar makes the play to end the inning. Twins with 3 solo home runs today. 2 mammoth drives off the bats of Arcia and Park, and the Twins lead by 2. Twins going deep twice. Park with the longest home run hit here in years to straightaway center field. And to underscore your point, Smith has pitched 522 2/3 innings in the big leagues. Just the 34th and 35th home runs he's allowed, and they came back to back.
Over the last couple of years, 142 relief appearances, a lot of innings, and he only gave up 8 home runs. So yeah, a rarity. Kevin Jepson coming in looking for a second straight save. He worked in last night's ball game, picked up the save in the Twins' first win.
Through 17 pitches, issued a leadoff walk that inning. There's a bunt, and it's a nice one. It'll die in front of Plouffe, firing. Got him! Trevor Plouffe with a great play and a beautiful bunt by Andrelton Simmons.
Yeah, bunt was a little bit on the hard side, but Trevor Plouffe came hustling in. See Simmons, they made pretty good contact. You see where that ball went. Trevor again bare hands it on the run. Nice flip over to Park. One quick out.
Usually bunts that are popped up like that a little bit tend to back up and not bounce up. Trevor got a good hop, made a good play, one down. Here is Soto. One pitch, one out for Jepson. And a strike on the outside corner. Now, Jepson got the save last night, but he really struggled with his secondary pitches. Byron Buxton in center. Rosario going to left and Kepler going to right. There's a breaking ball for a strike. Jepson was pretty much a one-pitch pitcher last night, and he's thrown a breaking ball there for strike 2.
Yeah, you know what? You get ahead in a count, you can try it, and that one was successful. That's the only way you're going to get it back, is to don't put it in your back pocket. Throw it. And that one, that's a good pitch. When it's 0-2, you want it down and away. You showed the opposing team you can get over more than one pitch. They're not going to sit just on the fastball.
1-2. Another breaking ball and a tapper foul.
Kevin Jepson, of course, originally signed by the Angels back in 2002. Spent 7 seasons in an Angel uniform. Picked up 5 saves for the Angels, 5 for the Rays. 11 now in a Twins uniform.
Breaking ball off the plate, 2-2. I asked Paul Molitor today about Jepson and his inability to throw his secondary pitches. He said, his history before the Twins got him last year is a guy who had a difficult time throwing enough strikes. That was not the case last year at all. Two and 2. Just off the plate with a fastball, and it's a full count. Pennington on deck. Because Presley had a quick 1-2 3/8, there's a scenario out there where Trout and Pujols won't hit again. But you can't walk people, otherwise you.
Yeah, Sano's going to. Soto's going to get a fastball right here. He has to. And it's high and away.
So a walk will get the tying run to the plate. Time now for What's Next, brought to you by CenturyLink. Series finale tomorrow, and Kyle Gibson will go against Nick Tropiano. Pennington faced Jepson last night and hit a ground ball to Trevor Plouffe. One for 3 today with a double and a run scored in the second inning. And a fastball's up high. To Molitor's point, last year with Tampa Bay, Jepson threw 41 2/3 innings and issued 20 walks. He pitched 28 innings for the Twins and issued just 7 walks. He was really locked in. 1-0. Fouled away.
Well, Jepson, a guy that can get that fastball in the mid-90s. Sometimes has a tendency to rush his lower part, which means that a lot of the fastballs are up.
1-1 to Pennington.
When he stays back, he creates a better angle toward the catcher's glove. Like
Swing
that.
And a miss.
Just like that. So you constantly are making the adjustment, as Ricky Nolasco did earlier in the ballgame. Better fastball, better location, down in the zone. An explosive type fastball.
1-2 to Pennington.
Murphy sitting outside.
Got him. 2 down.
And that running fastball right there, that's the same one he struck out, I believe, Gentry last night for the final out. Or was that Nava last last night.
Nava to end the game.
Right.
Yep. So now Yunel Escobar, who's reached all 4 times today, 3 singles and a walk. Twins fans haven't had much to cheer about this year, but an exciting win last night, and now 1 out away from another one this afternoon.
You want to be careful with this guy right here. There's a dead fastball hitter.
Runner goes. Twins don't care. Chopped to short. Nunez has it. Back-to-back wins for the Twins. And more late-inning clutch hitting leading them to another win.
Twins had 4 home runs coming into this ball game, the 11th game of the season. They hit 3 home runs today, 2 huge ones in the 8th inning. I mean, huge ones.
And Tom Hanlon, the Twins approaching a very important 24-hour period, having lost the first 9 games of the season, and they won both games in that 24-hour period.
Dick, the weather is heating up, and suddenly so are the Twins, who secure their first series win today, coming up on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We'll talk about that 8-inning back-to-back home run derby, Ricky Nolasco's outing. We'll hear from Paul Molitor and preview Game 3 tomorrow afternoon.